So, hi, this is Elisa Palma Hancock, and I'm here with Christina,
Hi.
one of my amazing clients that I have the honor to work with.
Oh,
To begin with, what were things like before we started working together?
um, well, things were pretty confusing from what I can remember. I had a lot of things going on in my life that I just wasn't sure about, and I didn't feel like I could get clarity um, from anybody else. I maybe thought about seeing a like a psychologist or some kind of counselor, but I knew in my heart that they wouldn't have the answers that I was looking for. And so I heard about spiritual coaching, and that sounded something that resonated with me more. So yeah, that's how my journey began. Hmm.
Okay, and what made you look for professional help specifically? What was it that?
Because I knew, like, I had been reading so many self-help and like spirituality books, and I had gone to a retreat a few months before, and I just knew that I needed to seek. I needed more than just doing the work on my own.
Mhm.
Like, the books weren't. It wasn't enough. I know I needed to dive deep if I really wanted to get the feelings that I wanted to get and have my life the way that I had envisioned for myself. I knew that I needed to seek a coach to get there.
Yes, and what were the obstacles to making a decision?
The obstacles were mostly that it was new. I had never, Elisa was my first coach, so I had never had a one-on-one coach before, so that could be very nerve-wracking if you've never had that kind of one-on-one experience before. And then the investment of, paying for the services. It's a totally different service. So for me, that's what it was. I had to ask myself, like, do I want it? Do I want to invest in myself this much?
Mhm.
And is it going to be worth it? Is the question.
Yes,
So,
yes.
and it
Very.
was, of course, it was more than what I expected. So
So I don't
yes.
think I've ever got the chance to ask you, why did you choose me?
When you're looking for a coach, there are so many different types, and it was you and two other candidates, and the other two, one I had, I think, two. That's how I used Zoom, was the first time with her.
Okay.
She had interviewed, or she we had a two sessions, and I just wasn't. I could, just by the question she was asking me, I wasn't. We weren't vibing. Like, I wasn't really feeling it, but she was really insistent. She was like, like, I just feel like you're really you're really closed off, and all this stuff. And I'm just thinking, like, we don't vibe. By the time the other one had emailed me, I think you and I had already talked on the phone, and like, I kind of immediately knew that you were more on the same path as I was, and spiritually connected. And
Mhm.
yeah, we just, everything that you had described, and I also looked on your website too, it was more aligned with what I was looking for. Yeah, it was very clear. It was blaringly clear. Like, you were the only one that was more spiritually aligned, like I was. So it was an easy decision to make. Now I know better. I feel
Yeah.
like after the coaching, I feel like I know myself better, and like, it's okay to say no to people,
Oh,
like it's okay not to be a people pleaser, and that's
yes.
what it was. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Big time. And yeah, good thing. Like you listen to your heart and you just followed along with it. So it's something to
yeah.
keep in mind when you choose a coach. So and now that we have worked together, how are
Hmm.
things different and what is life like?
Yes, things are so different from our first phone call. Um, let's see, they're different in that I think the most important thing is just my self-awareness, and um, feeling like I could really love and trust myself.
Hmm.
Versus before, it was just, I was very unsure. I didn't know how to do it. Um, it was not something that we're taught in school to do, is to love ourselves, and it's so important. So I think first and foremost, that's the most important thing. And I think life is just different in general. I think after I worked on myself on the inside, everything on the outside started to change too. So, I mean, yeah, I have more acceptance with where I'm at in my life. Everything from my professional life and my career, and my personal life as well.
Yeah.
So,
So
mhm.
if you were to pick, like, say, three things, three benefits that you've experienced, like three things very, very clear, very measurable, that you can talk about or explain to someone who would ask you, what would you say?
um, I would say, gosh, with my personal life, my relationship with my mom has been life changing. I think I don't even think that was one of the goals.
Mhm. No,
It wasn't.
no.
And yeah, it transpired into that, and I think that was probably the most beneficial result from our coaching, was that relationship. That I think I always knew that I wanted to work on that, but I didn't know how. And it happened during our coaching, and that, and also my relationship with my family, I feel like is a lot better. Yeah, and it's more of acceptance and understanding, that came out of that. And my relationship with my boyfriend, my now boyfriend, whereas when
Right.
we were first uh, our first session together, it was, I didn't know what was going to happen with our relationship, but um, I think I had a feeling of what it was going to be, but I wasn't confident in myself to understand, or make that decision as far as where our relationship was going. So I think those were the main benefits. And also, just I feel like the relationship with myself, it always goes back to that. It's just self-love, self-awareness, and understanding that you are not your thoughts, and that you have control over how you feel and what you want to experience in your life.
Yes, that's ultimately what is going to unlock all the other aspects, like, like work and money and all that other
Yes, it makes a big difference in perspective, and like I said, understanding that you have the power to control your experiences and your thoughts. And it's a daily practice
stuff.
of
Yeah.
understanding that, because it's not easy when you're out in the real world. And there are many people that don't have an understanding the way that we that I do, and the way that you have taught me. So um yeah, I would say the real world is a great teacher. It's a great, way to learn, and how to um, put those put that into practice, put what you've taught me into practice. So
Yeah, but
yeah,
that's what it is about, like, it's not the magic pill that you just take and everything gets changed. Of course, it's a work in progress that, as you say,
yes,
lasts for life, but it gets easier, and the good thing, as you were
hmm,
stressing, is the fact that when something comes up, you now have the tools, how
yes,
to approach it, how to deal with it,
hmm,
and that is, ultimately what makes your experience different. Would you recommend my program and working with me?
of course I would recommend your services to others. I would definitely recommend it to someone who is open to uh, spirituality,
Hmm.
and the like, because there are many people that don't have an understanding of what this is, and that would think it's like woo woo, or strange or weird or whatever. understanding. And I think in the age that we're in, there are more of us
Mm-hmm.
now that, have an understanding or just an open mind to these services. So yes, definitely I would recommend your services to others. And why not? I feel like there's always room for improvement in your life, and for a different perspective.
Yeah.
It's a totally different way of looking at things. It's a much more peaceful way, which is, unfortunately not as common.
No.
But that's why it's so important to have these types of services, that you offer.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah.
There's definitely need for more peace and feeling more centered. And I agree.
Hmm.
We can see
Yeah.
that every day. Um,
Yeah.
is there anything else that you think it's important to say or that you would like to add?
I mean, I would say if you're on the fence, do it. It's totally worth it, and you're not gonna fully understand the journey until you go through it. But I promise you, it's worth it. It's worth every penny, and all of the time that you will invest into it.
Well, thank you. Thank you so very much.
Of course, yes.
So, yeah, if you're interested, my heart coaching program is open. Well, thank you so much again for all your
Yes,
insights and for your time. Um,
yes, of course.
yeah, and well, be well. And
Yes, thank you, Lisa.
thank you, Christina.